What If Toku Edition. I've been wanting to write this series since the beginning of my channel, and this is mainly due to me watching the What If Marvel series when it came out. And it got me thinking about scenarios for Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, and Power Rangers. So let's start with the first episode of this new series here on the channel, starting with What If SPD? Kezza Henshin. Now how the series will go is that we'll go through 2 or 3 scenarios, starting with some short ones, and then head over to the big boy scenario nearer the end. Afterwards, I will ask you guys a what if question for the next what if episode. So stick around to hear the prompt so we can get your scenarios in these videos too. Also, let me know what you think of my theories while you're thinking of your own. Thanks again, and let's go! First what if suggestion I think of is what if Jack didn't join SPD when he got the chance? He'll most likely do what he did at the end of the series. Go back to his home with his friends. Of course, after serving his sentence in their prison, which was the ultimatum: prison or Power Ranger? Kinda easy to answer, but oh well. This time, however, he just would not have the connections that he does by the end of the series. He would most likely be happy with his choice, as that is his character, but he may struggle harder, which just makes achievements more worthwhile sometimes. The team would suffer without the Red Ranger leader, and Sky would most likely push for himself to be the leader, but I think Commander Kruger would recruit someone else. Who would that be? I'm not too sure, but knowing the Power Ranger series, it might even be Tommy, as they mention him in the series and know of his accomplishments. Imagine Tommy showing up yet again. Yay! Final scenario before we go to our big boy what if, and this one is kinda sad. What if Doggy Kruger and his team successfully protected his home planet? This one is from KRX from my research team on Discord. If Doggy Kruger had protected his home planet, he probably wouldn't be the commander on the Earth base at all, but grew in the ranks of the SPD on their home planet of Sirius. He was married to Isenia, so he would probably not even think to come to Earth. If not for backup and business, he wouldn't be the character we love, and that's a shame. He would take over as commander if he wasn't there. Not too sure, but knowing the Power Ranger series, it might even be top. Now, this one has been stuck in my head and was my first ever what if question. What if Sky was chosen to be the Red SPD Ranger at the beginning? Now, we all know, unless you haven't watched the series, so spoilers ahead. Sky is the son of the previous Red Ranger who died in battle while fighting the dangerous criminal Murloc when Sky was a child. Sky later on was chosen to take on the position in the B Squad, but as the Blue Ranger. This shocked him, of course, as he wanted to carry on his father's legacy, but this ended up being the best thing for the team to grow and succeed in the end. But was it? Mostly, yeah. If Sky was chosen to be Red instead of Jack, he would most likely be very cocky about his position. Almost like Jack at the beginning. He was at the top of his class for weapons and fighting, and did see himself as a bit of a star amongst the talentless nobodies, with a great father to follow in the footsteps of. This, however, made him very big-headed and arrogant, to a point that he would comment on all the mistakes of his teammates. How annoying, and also, who asked? When the A-team goes missing, Commander Kruger sets up the B-team, and unfortunately for Sky, he did not make the red position but the blue, which Sky is not happy about. This is due to Commander Kruger not trusting him with this task due to his arrogance. However, let's change this around. Sky is now red. Yay! Kinda. As said before, he would be so cocky, big-headed, and bossy, and this would cause major issues on missions. Have you ever been in a group project and that one kid bosses everyone around and barely does anything cause they think they are the god's gift to the world? The sliced bread amongst baguettes. Not that I have any issues with baguettes, but you get what I mean. He would be that guy. He would be insufferable, bossing everyone around as he is the big shot, the big red. And we are still talking about Jack, right? No? Oh. It'd be the same for Sky though, let's be honest. Expecting himself to be as good as his dad, and I can imagine this would cause issues with the team dynamic. There would be moments of doubt in the group, or they would want to suggest a plan, maybe a better plan than his, but he would push his one forward, causing insecurities in the group, misunderstandings, and maybe even injuries to innocent civilians or teammates. But ultimately, he would be happy just filling the shoes of his dad's position, even if the team was suffering from it. And maybe behind the scenes, what he is covering with his obnoxious behavior is his worry and doubts that he could even fill his father's shoes, be the leader his team needs, which causes him to act out or be extra hard on everyone. That's heavy. Having Sky as red would of course cause even more issues with the community, as it was Jack and Z that brought them all together. If Jack isn't red, would he end up being blue or even green? Would Z still be yellow? Would they even join the team? And would we have possibly a core 3 Ranger team like in Lupin Ranger versus Pat Ranger? Or fill the gaps with other characters? And if Jack and Z didn't join the team at all, they would not have any understanding of the rougher parts of the city. When in the first episode, they had to venture into the rougher parts. They looked down on the people and the aliens that lived there. They did not have an understanding or any compassion for them. And even if Z and Jack were on the team, their opinions would probably be shut down as they were thieves in Sky's eyes. They would have been probably given the harder or worse jobs, as Sky was so precise into the book and would not appreciate having such villains on his team. One mission I could see this being a major issue is when Sky comes face to face with Murloc, knowing his father died by his hands. Now it was Jack's compassion and control that stopped him from charging and killing Murloc on the spot. And it was Jack who allowed him to take Red Ranger power to arrest Murloc in the end, allowing Sky to control and use his hatred a little to finish the job. But without Jack calling the shots, stopping his anger, or even being there entirely, he would not have stopped killing without assessing him or putting him through a trial. He would have maybe been arrested himself for pointless killing on a mission and not bringing them in for questioning. Very similar to when Jen was about to kill, I'm not making this up, the name is Fat Catfish. She as well was stopped, but I do wonder what path that would have put her on, as well as Sky. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. With time, he grew to accept his position as Blue in the show, learning to appreciate all parts of the city, and he wouldn't have been so open and understanding to his teammates. Instead, in this scenario, he would most likely push for the A squad, again thinking himself to be, pardon my pun, top dog, and not appreciating what was around him. A great team and great people in the city, or he would end up in prison or kicked out the force for killing a suspect. Yikes. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my first episode of the series. I'm super excited to write another episode like this, and if you guys want to help, please join the Discord to join our research team. See you soon, and here are all my socials. Kezza Henshin. Matane.